what's up, y'all? It's Cedric the Entertainer. We thought it'd be fun to take y'all through some of the trials and triumphs of the hat business. Here's my partner, GD Gardner, breaking down one from the archives.
We've been at this for 5 years now, and people often ask, how did this start? Where did Who Said come from? How did the whole thing happen? It's an interesting story. I had a friend who was a music producer, and he and I were extremely close, and he called me up one day and he said, hey man, would you mind taking a meeting with Cedric the Entertainer? And I said, well, what's it regarding? And he said, I'm not really sure. And I said, well, listen, I'd like to be prepared, so why don't you dig in, do the homework, tell me what it's all about, and then get back to me. So he agreed. Like 3 days later, I get a call from him, and he's in downtown Santa Monica, and he says, hey man, are you coming to that meeting today at 11 with Cedric? And I said, no, you didn't schedule it, nobody confirmed, I don't even know what the meeting's about. And he said, dude, I am gonna look like an idiot. You have to come. And I was in like downtown LA, it's an hour away, meeting's in an hour, and I'm like, Mark, I don't even know what the meeting is about. So I agreed at the last minute to drive in traffic like a maniac, get to the meeting, and our agreement was we weren't gonna talk. We weren't gonna say a single thing. We were gonna let Cedric and his team talk because we didn't even know why they wanted to meet. And then we were gonna figure out if there's something we could do together or some interesting overlap. So we get to the meeting. The second we sit down, my friend Mark just goes into filibustering mode. He starts with, I was 12 years old, I was playing football in high school, I hurt my knee, I had a scholarship, then when I was 19, I was living in France. Pretty soon, 90 minutes has elapsed. Cedric and I haven't said a single word to each other. I have no idea what it is he even wants to meet about. And it's time to go. Like, I've got a meeting to go to, Ced's got a meeting to go to, so I stand up and I'm like, guys, thank you so much for coming. Before I leave, can you tell me what it is you wanted to meet about, what did you guys want to talk about? So as I'm walking into my car, Cedric says, well, listen, I just came from a meeting with Diddy, and we were talking about doing a suit line, and he suggested maybe I just did hats or something, and he had heard that I was working with Kathy Ireland's company on some stuff, and we were talking about doing something interesting from fashion, and another friend of ours said, hey, there's this guy Gary, he's super creative, he's a business guy, maybe you guys should talk. So that was all the conversation that Cedric and I had about starting this company. So maybe a week or so later, I was home in Michigan, and my father was sick, and he was actually, on his deathbed. It was on his last moments of life. And my phone would ring, and I would get texts like every hour or every couple of hours from Cedric and his family, just saying, hey, our thoughts are with you, our prayers are with you. And I realized that this was a quality human being, that this was a guy that had character, and I had so many friends and acquaintances in the entertainment world and in Hollywood, and I didn't get a text or a message or anything from anybody else. So that kind of stayed with me while I went through that whole process with my dad and my family, and when I got back, I had determined, I don't care if the guy wants to make lava lamps, I'm all in. I'm gonna work with this guy and we're gonna have success at something. So from there, we just slowly started to build this relationship and friendship and the idea of the company, and we modeled it after some comedic things like the idea of Who Said, and some old school things like the idea of egg and butter, and one layer at a time. Over 5 years, we built the brand together and endured a lot of crazy people, a lot of weird behavior, and got to the point where now we're looking back after 5 years doing what we want to do, all for the love of hats.
Hey, now that you've heard our story, we want to hear one of yours. Go over to whosaid.com and give us 2 minutes of your best hat story, and maybe you'll become a part of the Who Said history.